By the way, while we keep an eye out on all the listed stocks, there's a lot of buzz in the unlisted equity space as well. And one big company that everyone is focused on, of course, is NSE. Now, the development last evening was that the NSE board of the National Stock Exchange, has decided to go forward and request SEBI for an NOC so that they can move ahead with the NSE IPO. Now, that's what we have been picking up. Let's quickly go across to Deven Choksi and get some sense on what this could potentially mean and where we are in the whole journey of having a listed national stock exchange. Deven, good morning. Thanks so much for joining in. While we, of course, we need to ask you about what you think about the timelines, I think the valuation part is really important as well, because Nigel just tells me that in the unlisted market, the shares were quoting at 5,500 as of yesterday. So there's been a massive move already. What do you think of, NSE valuations in the unlisted space now, and what will potentially be on the table if we do move towards an IPO?
Hi, Surabhi. Good morning. Well, I think going by the data which they have given in the last earning presentation, the company is basically growing at the revenue book in the vicinity of around 40% plus. And I think the profits likewise, I think, are growing at the same pace. So this year, FY25 could be possibly the year in which I think they should be somewhere around 19 to 20,000 crore to a top line. And somewhere around 11,000 crore or so should be the operating profit for the company. So from a perspective of looking at this company and the growth at around 40% plus level, I believe that the fundamentals of the company are very much in shape. Of course, I think we did not say much about, I think, the market share that this particular exchange is assuming, both in cash market as well as in the derivative markets. So I think that's where the strength is. Given the possibility that this time around the earning per share could be in excess of 200, I think you are likely to see at a 40 price earning multiple, which is a very conservative price multiple that I think we can possibly ask for, a price of around 8,000. And probably if this particular premium has to come to them with around 550 times price earning ratio on a 200 rupee earning per share in this year, it could be somewhere around 10,000 rupee price, I think, for the stock. So certainly, I think the company remains absolutely convincing from the investment perspective, with a lot of other positives, including, I think, the possibilities of cross-border trades getting started some point of time within the same exchanges, I think, where probably you are likely to see the larger participation of the volumes.
Deven, hi, morning. Actually, for viewers who are watching, and they're wondering, well, this stock or that stock, I mean, it's not yet listed, but NSE is a real option. Many large investors have done that, right? I mean, there is valuation comfort, there is listing timeline uncertainty, but the business continues to do well. I mean, there is going to be better price discovery once it makes it to the market. But as you said, I think, and that IIFL earnings, I mean, there's only, I think, IIFL and a few others who cover it. Their earnings estimates on FY27 basis, NSE is at about 15 times earnings. This is IIFL. And it's a dominant exchange, etc., etc., etc. So do you think viewers who are watching should consider buying some NSE, maybe even selling some of the outrageous winners they have in their portfolio and moving to some NSE? What's your sense?
Yes, Prashant, good morning. Well, bound to happen that way. The moment I think the company gets listed, I think you're likely to see larger amount of participation from the public in general. Currently, even in the unlisted market, the stock is trading. I think there is a certain amount of limitation in this particular stock. I think a minimum investment size is one of them. And that's where probably I think not many people could participate into this particular counter. But moment the stock is available through IPO, certainly I think there has to be a strong re-rating happening to the valuation. What I put across as a 40 times or 50 times price earning ratio could be, I think, very conservative for a company which is growing at a 40% plus rate of growth, and the visibility of growth in coming years remains on the certain side, on a higher side. A comparative exchanges, I think, in the market, be it in cash market, be it in commodity market, I think you're finding the valuation ratios, I think, quite high compared to even the valuation ratio that I'm talking about. So from that perspective too, I guess I think the investors should find it fancy. And most importantly, most of the funds who are basically having the weight on the market intermediaries, they would probably, I think, like to create additional amount of investment exposure into their funds once the company is listed. Rindal, I think today, majority of the mutual fund and others who would like to basically be part of the investment in NSE, they are not. I think they will soon probably like to, because I think the stock is listed.
All right, Deven, as you said, the minimum quantity, I believe the minimum quantity today is around 200. I've not yet verified that totally, but that would amount to more than 10 lakhs of a ticket, for someone who wants to buy 200 shares. But Deven, final question before we let you go. There's a regulatory overhang as well. Now it's deemed a public company. So there'll have to be some amendments to get it listed. Your comment on this?
Well, I wouldn't know much about, I think, what kind of amendments I think they will have to undergo. Maybe I think the NSE management would be the better place, authorities, I think, to talk about those amendments that they wish to talk about when they apply for IPO at NSE.
But Deven, just going back to the valuation number, you said possible to see a 40 times forward multiple, which would take the price to around 8,000, right? That's 1 year forward earnings if we ascribe it a 40 times multiple.
This is FY25. I think I'm talking about FY25, 200 rupee earning per share. And I'm assigning, I think, 40 times price earning ratio for FY25. I'm not even going beyond that. Exchange is growing at around 40% rate of growth. I think one can extrapolate those numbers subsequently.
I mean, so if it lists today, nothing less than 10,000. You can take it in writing. Deven, thank you very much. But that's the uncertainty, right? When will it list? Appreciate you joining in, and thank you very much for being here with us on CNBC TV 18.